Hello children, and welcome back to biology class. We are continuing with the lesson Biodiversity and Conservation, and today we are going to do patterns of diversity. Okay, in that area, species area relationship. Okay, so according to Alexander von Humboldt, species richness increases with increasing explored area. First, if you explore a small area, you can find few number of species, both plants and animals. If you increase that area to a larger area, you can find the species richness increases. Definitely it increases, but up to a certain level. If you again go on increasing the area, it will again increase, but finally it will be same. But only up to a limit, he says, right? So it can be plotted against that. This can be plotted in a graph, and the graph gives a hyperbola, rectangular hyperbola. This is this rectangular hyperbola. When it was converted to log scale, no, it was okay. This hyperbola is given by the equation S is equal to C A power Z, where S is equal to species richness, A is the area, Z is the slope of regression, slope of the line or slope of regression coefficient, and C is the y-intercept. When you convert it to logarithmic scale, it becomes log S is equal to log C plus Z log A. Okay. Now, relation between species richness and area gives a rectangular hyperbola. And generally for smaller areas, the Z value is 0.1 to 0.2. The Z value, children, the Z value is usually, or for smaller areas, it is coming to 0.1 to 0.2. But for larger areas, for example, the entire continent, for a country, etc., the slope of the line is steeper. For example, if you have a smaller area, the slope of regression may be this much. So this is the species area richness. Okay. If you take a larger area, it may be then the slope becomes like this, right? Then if for a larger area, it may be like this. So this may be steeper line. Okay, so the Z value comes to 0.6 to 1.2. Okay, for example, for frugivorous birds and mammals in the tropical forest of different continents, the Z value is 1.15. Okay. And according to David Tillman, another ecologist, the area or plots with more species shows less year-to-year variation in total biomass. He says if you compare an area with only very few number of species, both plants and animals, and to another area which has more number of species, the plot or the land or the area with large number of species, variety of species, will show less year-to-year variation in total biomass. An increased diversity contributes to higher productivity. It is essential for the ecosystem health and survival of human race. So anyway, a region with a more species diversity is always healthy and sustainable for human race as well as the life of plants and animals. Okay. Now, when you come to the importance of species diversity, which species has the more importance? The very, very big animals, or the big trees, or the small grasses, the algae, or small mosquitoes, small sized mosquitoes? which organism or species is important in an ecosystem. So it is governed by the contribution each of these species makes in an ecosystem. It's not the size, or the size, the bigger or smaller size depends, it is not dependent on the size of the organism. What is the contribution made or given by that particular animal or plant to the ecosystem? That is it. Okay, so it is given by Paul Eldridge. It is proposed by Stanford ecologist Paul Eldridge. He gives a hypothesis which is called as rivet popper hypothesis. Suppose you consider the ecosystem to an aeroplane, and the aeroplane is made up of small to big parts. Yes or no? Small nut and bolts to very big parts, connected together. These nuts and bolts and these parts represents the species of the ecosystem. Okay, now suppose if every human being getting into the aeroplane starts popping means just taking something and putting in his pocket. That's what is popping. Every passenger removes one parts, and he pops into his pocket. Will that disturb the flight actually? If a passenger takes a rivet from just a small nut or bolt from the aeroplane, it is not going to affect the flight as such. But if the rivet is from the wings or from the cockpit or from the main part of the aeroplane, that is definitely going to affect the aeroplane. Same way I've already told you what is the contribution given by the species to the ecosystem. That counts. Okay, not the size or the large or anything else is important. So that is the rivet popper hypothesis. Okay.